There are thousands of them all over Missouri, railroad crossings that have nothing more than a sign to alert you to the danger ahead.
After 3 died at a Trenton, Missouri train crossing, the town is fighting to make it crossing safer. But Fox 4 problem solver Linda Wager shares how that fight for safety is being overtaken by frustration.
The accident that prompted this battle happened in December in Trenton, Missouri, a small town about 90 miles northeast of Kansas City. They came with their children, their signs, and their tears, hoping that what happened on this railroad crossing in December won't happen again.
I just want to say thank you so much. Just to see that you all cared.
Cared about the 3 people who died here at this crossing after a train hit their car. Killed were 30-year-old Adam Romsberg, 28-year-old Nina Spencer, and 24-year-old Nikki Groves. Nikki was driving. She's the sister of Kristen Harper and the mother of little Taylor.
She'd do anything for anybody and not complain.
In fact, on December 9th, she was driving her 2 friends to the store when she crossed the tracks and apparently never saw what came next.
And she went down and landed right down here.
The train was moving nearly 60 miles an hour when it hit her car and pushed it 200 feet down the track and another 30 feet down this culvert.
The force actually separated her heart, and that's how they said she died.
It wasn't the first accident at this crossing. A teenager died here 20 years earlier.
It was a classmate of mine back in the 90s.
And just 2 years ago, another car got hit by a train. But that time, the driver survived.
I don't care if it's just one person or 100 people. If it's happened, it needs fixed.
Missouri has more than 2,000 unregulated crossings like this one, where the only marking is a sign. Most drivers know that the only defense you have when you cross these tracks is to stop and look for the train. But the day of the accident, Nikki Groves never stopped. Family members can only speculate why. The crossing is on an incline and the road was icy. She may not have wanted to stop for fear she wouldn't have had enough traction to start again. But the people who live here say even when you come to a stop at this crossing, you're still in danger.
Yeah, I came to a complete stop for at least 30 seconds, I'd say 45 seconds.
After looking both ways, Stephanie Smith thought the coast was clear.
I seen the train with the light on. I just thought it was parked.
Because she said trains often park here for hours at a time. But this time, Smith was wrong. A second after a car cleared the track,
it zoomed past me. After that, I swore I would never cross these tracks again.
3 days later, Nikki Grove, Adam Romsberg, and Nina Spencer were dead.
4 seconds from when the car and the train could see each other was all they had.
Attorney Brett Emison is representing Nikki Grove's family. He says all 3 would still be alive if the engineer had stepped on his brakes once he noticed the car wasn't stopping as it entered the crossing.
And in these cases, fractions of a second count. In our case, all our car needed was half a second.
But Emison says the Union Pacific engineer never slowed down.
Union Pacific engineers tell Fox 4 problem solvers that by the time it becomes clear that a car is going to cross the path of a train, it's too late to apply the brakes. So that the scenario that Attorney Emison envisions, engineers say could never happen.
What folks here in Trenton want is to take the guesswork out of the crossing and get lights and gates put up. But a crossing like this one costs more than $200,000 and is paid for with state and federal funds. Every year, Missouri can only afford to add about 10 to 20 more crossings to the list. And it's a list Trenton, Missouri will probably never make.
3 accidents within 5 years.
Missouri Department of Transportation railroad expert Rod Massman says that's how many accidents it takes to get lights and gates at crossings like this one. Otherwise, the money goes to much busier crossings in other parts of the state.
An unmarked crossing, no lights, no gates.
But Attorney Emison says the people of Trenton shouldn't have to wait until more people die. He wants Union Pacific to spend some of its $2 billion in annual profits to make its crossings safer. But Union Pacific tells Fox 4 problem solvers that paying for crossing gates and lights is the government's responsibility, as the state and federal law back up that position. But that assertion infuriates Emison.
It's simply a matter of money over safety.
He says no state or federal law prevents a railroad from making a crossing safer. In fact, that's exactly what a jury decided when, 11 years ago, it ordered Union Pacific to pay what at that time was one of the highest verdicts ever, $160 million to a woman injured in a train crossing accident. Back then, Fox 4 spoke to members of that jury.
Not near what I wanted to give them. I wanted to make a statement to Union Pacific and to all the railroads. Do something. Don't be passing the buck.
That $160 million verdict was eventually reduced to $25 million on appeal, still the largest Missouri verdict ever awarded to an individual. Despite that, Union Pacific has not changed how it does business. So what can someone do if the railroad won't pay and your town is too small to qualify for state and federal help? You have two options. Ask the state to close the road where the crossing exists so no one else gets hurt, which isn't a viable option in Trenton or in most small towns, which need these roads to move farm equipment. Or pay for the crossing out of your own pocket.
If the city will come to us and agree to fund part of the lights and gates, we'll consider those projects.
We have a limited budget, too.
Trenton City Administrator Kerry Sampson says just picking up the state's portion of 20% of the cost of a crossing would amount to more than $40,000.
That's, 2 police cars.
For a city that has just had to slash its budget, $40,000 might as well be $1 million. That fiscal reality has many in Trenton frustrated with the state and the railroad.
I don't think they're doing a fair job of even trying to figure out whether or not they have any liability there, whether they're concerned about public safety.
He's mad because when the state conducted a traffic survey to determine if this crossing is busy enough to qualify for lights and gates, a main feeder road was closed.
Who in their right mind would do that?
But no one in Trenton is ready to give up. They say something needs to be done before someone else dies. Trenton officials are continuing to negotiate with representatives from the state and the railroad to reach a solution that the public will support and the town can afford. We'll let you know what happens. Linda Wager, Fox 4 Problem Solvers, working for you.